Please be seated. Good morning. Kumusta ka? Bonjour. Privyat. ¿Cómo estás? Annyeong. Ni hao. Hello. Or in the way that my dad has been greeting me recently, Ohio. Dad jokes. I hope everyone's been enjoying the first few weeks of school, and whether you're returning or new, I say welcome. A heads up for all the new students, you'll find that Appleby life can get real busy, real fast. But I promise you that in these years and in this school, the greatest friends and the greatest memories are made. For those who don't know me yet, my name's Angelo. Some call me Ace because my initials spell ACE, Angelo C. Empleo, while others call me Jello. I'm personally more inclined towards Emperor Empleo, but just whatever comes to your mind first. It's truly an honor that I may serve as this year's chapel prefect, and I promise to serve with the same integrity and poise as those who came before me. Well, Inshallah. The phrase Inshallah is an Arabic phrase, and it means God willing. After 12 years of living in Saudi Arabia, that's one of the few Arabic phrases I managed to solidly retain, and even then, I apologize if I'm still butchering the pronunciation. Interestingly enough, it was my sister, Angelique, who taught me the phrase Inshallah. I know, Angelo, Angelique, my parents are creative. I can honestly say that my sister Angelique is one of the most important people in my life. My sister is the source of any success that I achieve. She's taught me one of the greatest lessons I could ever learn on how to be myself. And I'm so grateful to not just have her as my sister, but have her as my best friend too. I thank God for her daily, and I don't think I've ever told her this, but maybe by putting it out here, I hope this will suffice. My family is a very special part of my life, as I'm sure it is with all of you. My family in particular is rather close-knit, always in support of each other in our endeavors. Take my parents, for example. I thank God for them daily. I mean, what other parents will travel across the globe just to help their kid move in for senior year and sit in for his chapel speech? In case you haven't noticed the little couple in the back, those are my parents. And the guy who looks apparently who looks exactly like me is my dad, but I don't see the resemblance. My parents are great, and I thank God. Out of all the life lessons that they've taught me, that's the one that stays. Thank God. My parents are the most content and happy people that I know, for they found solace in those two words. Every action and kind act that they do, they tell me, is in gratitude for God. And as elusive as their teachings, my mom tells me that that is the secret to happiness, to be thankful. I remember I was 12 years old when she first told me this, and in my wise and enlightened preteen state, I looked into her eyes and said, "Mom, that was the cheesiest thing I've ever heard. Please don't say that again." But she didn't have to. As I grew older, I noticed how she said it through her actions, and the way she gave back to the community and to our friends and family. Her eyes spoke of a happiness I couldn't fathom. Flash forward a couple of years later, it's senior 2 year in Appleby. The prefects have gathered together in the Raymond Massey reading room, and Miss Haggie has each prefect list their top 3 values. After we chose our values, we collected them all together, and the top voted most recurring value that we came up with was happiness. Most, if not all, prefects saw happiness as one of the most valuable traits we could possess as a team. I thought it was really interesting at the time, because I'd expected integrity or harmony to be the top value, but instead it was happiness. It was interesting to note that happiness was the most desired value above all others. It actually made sense though, because mutual happiness has the ability to encompass all other traits and values, such as respect or loyalty. And also, I mean, who doesn't want to be happy? Flash forward again to this weekend, but this time, my family and I are in Montreal. Unbeknownst to me or my family, my sister had signed us up for a volunteer service called Sandwiches for the Homeless. It's where we would make and provide sandwiches for the homeless. Yeah. We paroled the paths of Montreal for 3 hours and distributed stacks of sandwiches to strangers on the streets. Exhausting, but insightful. It was fun to watch the volunteers hand out these sandwiches because both parties looked almost exactly the same, like different sides of a mirror. On one side, the homeless had grins to their ears and the volunteers did likewise. The volunteers were just as happy as the homeless, if not more. At every exchange, the homeless men and women reciprocated the appreciation with gap-toothed smiles and the volunteers returned those smiles with even brighter ones. The exchange was incredible, even when no words were said, especially when no words were said. The event leader explained to us how we should thank God for opportunities like this to give, for the secret of living is giving. Now, he did have a point, but I don't know if that's the key to happiness, at least not fully. Because I don't know about you, but I find it difficult to find constant motivation to constantly give, especially when I don't have very many stuff to give. So you'll find this in boarding, when you have a lot of food, when you have to, never mind. It's much easier said than done is what I'm trying to say. But as it turns out, Mother knows best, and she had the answer all along. The answer is gratitude. With gratitude, we are obligated to give, and in giving, there's happiness. Again, much easier said than done. To be grateful means more than just being thankful all the time. It means noticing life's simple pleasures. It means counting our blessings and acknowledging everything we receive. It means learning to live our lives loving the small miracles. Small, but still, miracles nonetheless. It means to be aware of what we've got, because what we've got is a lot. Gratitude's a skill in noticing the small blessings of life. Be open to everything. Be open to the good you see. Be open to each God-given gift. Anyone can start anywhere, anytime, even here, especially here in the chapel. Take these stained glass windows, for example. To the left of me depicts a collection of parables, and to the right of me is the Proclamation on the Mount. And at the back is the multi-faith window indicating our celebration of different faiths. While we all know each one tells a different story, they're still windows, just panes of glass stuck on a wall. But it's really the trick of recognizing the small wonders in the seemingly simple things. And the chapel helps us recognize these wonders. Look again with different eyes, and there's no denying that each window looks absolutely brilliant when the sun shines through just right. The incredible array of colors that is constantly offered to us, for no other reason than for pure enjoyment. That is incredible. Thank God. Looking down from the windows, we turn to see one another, our friends and peers. Behind each face you see is an incredible and unfathomable story, unique to themselves and to themselves alone. And I think that that's amazing. Each living thing has an entirely unique and amazing experience. The sights they see, the sounds they hear, the lives they live are so complicated and so simple. It's remarkable, thank God. There's a quote that reads, "Already so much has been given to me, I have no time to ponder that which has been denied." And it was Helen Keller who quoted that. "Already so much has been given to me, I have no time to ponder that which has been denied." Of course, this is ideal if life were always predictable, but it isn't. There will be difficult moments in life, and in those times, gratitude will not seem worth the effort. But as the 11th Doctor said to Amy Pond, the way I see it, every life is a pile of good things and bad things. Good things don't always soften the bad things, but vice versa. Bad things don't necessarily spoil the good things or make them unimportant. It's not the most eloquent of quotes, but it's genuine. Life comes hard, but that doesn't mean it's still great. Really, really great. Remember that no matter how hard it rains, the sun still exists behind the clouds. Although we can't see it at times, that doesn't mean it's gone, and it doesn't make it any less grand. Around 100 years ago, in 1910, around this north edge of campus, the most magnificent establishment was being built. This institution would eventually inspire generations of Appleby students. Yes, Pole's House. But right beside that legendary boarding house is this John Bell Chapel, which continues to be vibrant with litanies, lessons, and life. And the John Bell Chapel will continue that way for many more years. Inshallah. Remember that it is in thanksgiving and gratitude that we find reason to give, and in giving we find reason to live. As said in the prayer to St. Francis, "O Divine Master, grant that we may not seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive." I'll look back at that prefect meeting, and it really does make sense why happiness came out on top. It's a goal we search for daily, the absolute purpose we're living for. But how do we find it? Now, I'm 17 years old, still a kid, and I still can't even sign out of boarding without my parents' permission. There's still so much of life I've yet to experience. I can't say that I found the key to happiness, but I think I'm on a pretty good start. As I'd say to my mom, it's cheesy, but to be happy, the secret of living is giving. And you can start by Thanksgiving. May we always remember that. Inshallah. Give thanks with every moment. Like now, I say thank goodness, thank heavens, and thank God. And most importantly of all, thank you for listening. Please open your hymn books to hymn 662. Sweat.
Good job, bro.
Oh my gosh.